I get some guys complaining about how their body panel gaps are not uniform and even. So in order to fix that, all you have to do is loosen up the bolts, and you can push these body panels over a little bit and then help close up that gap a little bit. We're only waiting on 2 more things to finish the car. All we have left to do is get some headlights for the front end and also perform an alignment. Some of you may know that I like to do my own alignments at home, and there's a few reasons for this. My car is actually too low to fit on most of the alignment racks here, and also since the wheels are tucked and go inside the fender, they're unable to fit the sensors over the edge of the wheel in order to do the alignment and get the readings. There are some shops that have special sensors to go over the wheels and they can still read them even though they're tucked inside the fender. But as far as I know, there isn't any shops in Hawaii that have this. Another good reason to do your own alignments is to save money, and it's good to have that mechanical knowledge on your side. The tools we'll need to do this alignment is toe plates, which I got these from Amazon for about $60, 2 identical tape measures, and crescent wrenches. I also like to put containers or boxes underneath the wheel so that this toe plate has a flat surface to rest on while it's against the wheel. The only thing you need to make sure is that the edge of the container is below the lip of the wheel. Now we can go ahead and set up our toe plate against the face of the wheel as so. We can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And at this point, you're able to run the tape measures between the plates using these slots. I like to use the smaller slot of the two. We got our tape measures set up now. We can see for the front measurement, we're over 81 inches, and the rear, we're actually under 81 inches. So this means since the distance in the front is greater than the rear, right now we're towed out on the rear wheels. In order to fix this, we're going to need to tow the wheels inwards. Right now, both wheels seem to be in the same relative position. So what I'm going to do is tow in both sides a little bit, and then we're going to take a look at it. We had to swap our containers out for some boxes, which were slightly lower profile because the measuring tapes were actually hanging too high. So they're running into some of the stuff on the underbody. But now with these boxes, we got the measuring tapes hanging free and clear of all interference. So we got our final measurements here. We got 83 in the front and about 83 and 1/16 in the rear. So with the smaller dimension being in the front, this means that these wheels are slightly towed in, which is actually something that we want. We usually want 1/16 to 1/8 inch of toe in. Always toe in is preferable over toe out. This will account for the natural toe out of the suspension system when the car travels forward, as well as when the suspension flexes, the wheels are going to have a natural tendency to toe out slightly. So this slight toe in the front is going to help us compensate for that. So the toe plates and measuring tapes are going to let us know that our wheels are parallel to each other, but they're not necessarily going to tell us that our wheels are straight in relation to the car. So even though the wheels are parallel, they could both be pointed off to the right direction or to the left direction. The method I like to use to ensure that the wheels are straight in relation to the car to the best of my ability is actually picking a spot on the body where I can use as a reference. So right here, we have this tire rim protector, this portion of the tire that's raised. We can compare that to the quarter panel gap right here. We can take a mental picture of that gap, come over to the other side and compare it to the other side. And we can see that it's right about the same. So along with our toe measurements being equal, as well as a visual reference for the tires being straight in relation to the car, it's safe to say that our toe is close to being zeroed. The only thing we have left is to tighten the jam nuts for the rear toe arms, and then we're done with the rear alignment. If you don't have brackets on your tow arms to mount the e-brake line, I like to zip tie it to the tow arm like so. For those of you curious about the inner wheel clearance, there's the coilover and there's the edge of the strut tower. We took a look at the front alignment and it's actually pretty good from the last time we did it. So we're not going to mess with it. We're going to be able to get a better assessment of how it is once we actually take it for a test drive. But for now, the front and rears are good to go. So we're going to make the preps to take the car off jack stands and be back down on the ground. Thanks to the e-brake, we were able to torque the rear lug nuts down already. We're going to wait till the front touches down in order to torque the front lug nuts. And we're going to go ahead and air all of our tires up to 60 psi. Alright, we got the tires all aired up, so now we're going to go ahead and take it off the jack stands and put it on the ground. We're going to start by dropping the rear. So make sure your e-brake is up, and we're going to use our bash bar here to get it up off the jack stands and then lower it down. For the front, I like to jack it up from the toe loops that are underneath the bottom of the frame rails. We're going to take this front bumper off and then I'll show you where they're at. So right here is where I like to put the jack, and I use that for both jacking the vehicle up as well as taking it down. And you have these on either side of the frame rails.